Don Vito, how you doing? All right, so we want to welcome our second guest for the evening. We got a Harlem native, who goes by the name of Gerald G. Money. Gerald G. Money's in the building. Gerald G. Money. Yeah, Gerald G. Money. So tell everybody where you from.
I'm from Harlem.
Okay.
Move up on this mic.
All right, so you're from Harlem, born and raised, right? So tell everybody, what was your life like growing up as a youngster?
Well, first of all, let me introduce myself to most of y'all who don't know me. My name is G Money. Good money, gave money, got money, and gonna get a little more money.
Okay. Talk money.
And as it's been said, there's a transition that has made from the old man from where I grew up to where I'm at to this day. Mm-hmm. I've been blessed to be able to see the times that what we're seeing now and the age that we're living in now, that life has come in full force of what was the shadow of what's to come.
Right.
I'm the birth of New Jack City, and I'm the birth of the New Jack era. I've had my opportunity to change my life, the life I lived. Mm-hmm. So to this day, I see a lot of people claim to be me.
Right. What you mean they claim to be you?
Well, I mean G Money's, that you heard about from
right.
the Cash Money Brothers,
Right.
When I thought about how this was even transpired, as where G Money even came from, I was at the world famous Apollo Theater.
Right.
And I said I wanted something that everybody can remember me by. And what I discovered was that everybody goes to work to make what?
Money. I live it.
It's a household name and everybody's attached to it all over the world. Somebody's had some type of contact with money. So I said, well, you know what? When I was just Gerald, I said, man, I made my first G hanging out with Nino Brown. I said, I need something that can identify with who I am.
What Nino Brown you talking about, brother?
Nino Brown, there's only two of them, and he's both of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, let me...
You talking about the real Nino Brown?
Well, I don't know about the real Nino Brown, because his name, Hollywood had projected to be just, this is a fictitious name, Nino Brown.
Okay.
Nino Brown, to the world, is known as Nino Brown from the movie New Jack City. Alan Payne betrayed me in the movie New Jack City. My neighbor wrote the story to New Jack City. I was a character when I was a kid coming up. The first one out of the, I grew up in Esplanade Gardens. The EG, before I had the CMB, the Cash Money Brothers, we were the EG boys. 27-story high-rise, swimming pools, security guards, private schools. And
what year was around that?
Man, I'm 64 years old now. I've been around so long, I don't even know, man. Shoot. I just had a birthday yesterday, matter of fact.
Happy birthday, man. Aquarius brother.
Yeah,
okay. Aquarius season right now.
Birthdays yesterday.
We got muscles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, before all the questions come out, just let me, identify certain things so we can get this
Please
going.
do.
My lifestyle from gangster to God, without God, I wouldn't even be here telling my story. So I ended up writing a book to tell my true story. It's the true story of my autobiography.
Is this the book?
This is my book. Chronicles of the New Jack Era. It's in Barnes & Nobles and Amazon. Chronicles of the New Jack Era. It's the official autobiography. I had an opportunity to figure out how can I be a blessing to my brothers that are still in the game. So my idea was to get involved with a self-help book. How would it be that I can help you to avoid the landmines and the boomerangs that people come into in everyday life? How can I become an overcomer? So I studied. My father was blessed to keep us in our books when we were kids. So for me to continue studying my life, that's how I got organized planning together. It's like, there was a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I read that book as a kid. And it inspired me how I can operate to be the power of the mastermind. And as to this day, as CEO of GM Entertainment, as well as CEO of Fortune 500, power of an empire of the New Jack Era, I am now CEO. And the lifestyle that they wouldn't project us to be only drug dealers and gangsters, according to Hollywood's version.
Right.
So my story is to be told that with Hollywood, a lot of people think that it was a Carter Hotel. Come on, kick in the door, a multi-million-dollar business is gone. when I was in the game, I became a trustee for the Dominicans. And most people, you know, they didn't know how to keep a low key. Those who survived the game were very low key. Guy was a millionaire, you never even knew it. He didn't project, show any images that he had money. Well, that was one of the key things. And I'm blessed, because I never went to jail for selling drugs, but I went to jail for beating them up, though.
Right.
I didn't get my money. You know what I'm saying? But that was a long, long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But I just give you a little history. A lot of people were fascinated by what Hollywood projected, that, you know, we were drug dealers and gangsters. And I want to take that stereotype away from the brothers that are still out there looking for a way out, you know, and I found that only you can't do nothing without having a personal relationship with God. So that was my transition, of knowing that it was time to let go. I stayed in the game for 17 years.
Right.
You know, they tell me, man, you been upstate, man. Man, you know, so-and-so was married to my sister, and my sister was married to his cousin, and that's how I know, man, yo, everybody, remember he had that hideout spot back there, man, you know, where he used to keep his stash? He's still there, though, man. Yo, man, hello, yo, man, you know, he still got the stash down there. And everybody want to know, what happened to so-and-so? Because there were people, you know, they figured they would tell their business. And, you know, when they got on the camera and things based on not being a blessing, because you're supposed to uplift your brothers. You know, my slogan was, am I not my brother's keeper? Today I ask you to prove it. Because there are a lot of people that claim to be loyal and trustworthy, they're liars. And that's what liars do. And people who are hurt people try to hurt other people. So what happens is when you're moving in a direction and you come out of the world into a relationship where God shows you, this is what I planned for your life while you're here.
So let me ask you a question. So we're going to talk about the New Jack City. Let's talk about the movie right quick. Let's take it back right now. So you saying the G Money, Alan Payne played you in the movie.
That was who, Gerald G? Money?
Okay, so New Jack City was based on like the crack era, the beginning of the crack era, so to speak.
Well,
and can you get into that with how did they come to you or people that you knew that was down with you to make the movie? How did all that come together?
Well, I had a protege that ran with me by the name of Barry Ford. We all came out of Esplanade. They were building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Barry lived in building 4. As far as what me and as to the world was known, and I'm not allowed to, you know, for other reasons, but as to the world, it's Nino Brown. He would tell, well, they worked for the Village Voice, and he would tell them, oh, Gerald, no, we're doing this. Man, they bought a car, they did this, they were doing this, that, and the other. And he was inspired. His mother, he went to school to become a journalist. So he was kind of sharp. He was like, he couldn't hang out with us. Go to school, get the education. He was like mama's fay boy. I don't mean to put him down in a negative way, but he had strict parents to make sure he got that education. So he became a journalist. And hearing bits and pieces of the story of how things were rolling at the time, information got back of certain things, but it wasn't an autobiography. You know, it was just bits and pieces. When Hollywood got a hold of it with their additional writers and stuff, first of all, black people don't mess with dynamite. You know why? We wake up too late. I didn't blow up my mama's kitchen, man. I gotta go live with my uncle. So during the time, you know, times are getting hard and bad. My dad retired and built a house in Santo Domingo. I went to Dominican Republic, and while I was there, I met a good friend that was Dominican. He came to the United States and said, yo, Joe, I'm in America. I'm like, get out of here, yo. So at the time, I was at the welfare office. And I said, maybe he'll give me $20 if I go up there and see him, man. My cousin wanted me to pay rent.
Right.
You know, what the hell is rent? My mama took care of me all my life. You know, I always had everything. So go to see him. He said, Gerald, look, I tell you this. He said, look, 1 ounce make 2 ounces like this. You make money like this. I tell you what I do. The first one is free. The next one they pay. Watch this, G Money. I ain't going to give you 14 grand. You give it to all the major players, you know, with the big gold chain, the diamond rings, and those who ride the fancy car. I guarantee you they're going to be calling you G Money. I'm like, what do you mean? So I told him, Nino, I said, yo, man, my man gave me this thing here, and he said he gave it to some guys here and there, blah, blah, blah. They come out. Oh man, yo, where you get this from? It's my man here. So he said, yo, I need a bird. I said, I don't know what a bird is. So he said, look, man, I got 20 stack. So I called my friend. I said, yo, you want a whole thing? He said, yo, don't come here with the money. Take the money and take it home. And come meet me. And I went to go meet him. He had balloons for a birthday bag, and a birthday bag with wrapped up, a whole package. So he said, yo, man, that's your man. That's my brother's keeper. I said, yo, told him, so you stay here until your man come back. Got you hostage. I ain't gonna leave my man there.
Yeah.
So I go take home, come back. He said, yo, my man is from Philly. He need two. My first night was 30 grand. I said, man, if I do this for 100 days, man, how much money I have? And then it just opened the door for me. I only saw weight because most guys went and did $5 and $10 joints and be out there forever. This rapper that saw weight. That's how I got engaged with the game. But the main thing was that to really have something organized with the feds, the FBI, the detectives, you got to worry about a lot of things with the stick-up kids, the robbers and all. You have to keep a low key. So I went into comedy at the Apollo, and I kept that front while I was doing what I was doing. I was at Pegasus, Leviticus, Studio 54. You know, matter of fact, I came up with George Kirby, Rick Avilas, Van Paris. I used to open up for Smokey Robinson, Natalie Cole, some of the big major acts. Then I went into promoting myself. Big Daddy Kane, EPMD, Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes. I was doing my thing. At the same time, during the night I was MC. During the day I ran the CNB. And back in the day, I don't know if you remember Chunky Black.
Yeah.
I sprayed it with something in my mother's kitchen. I ain't gonna tell her because people were running out going to get it and do this. And I sprayed it, put it in the bag, hit it with a hammer, took a razor blade and put it in blocks. They say, yo, G, what you gonna call it? I said, well, it's black, it's chunky. Gonna call it Chunky Black. And I put it on 123rd Street. I had my guys wear a money shirt. We went inside, jumped out the limo from the Touch of Class and the Godfather, came in the block. Now, why they was coughing and choking off the joint, because on the back of the can it says, do not inhale. But it was real smoke. It was like dark Colombian smoke, but back in the day it was Acapulco Gold, Acapulco Gold, red. But when black came out, nobody wanted that. That was Colombian. A guy I met in Connecticut, I said, man, he had gorilla hands and everything. I'm like, damn, don't touch that shit. You touch it, it may look like that. And I sprayed it on the roof, put it in a bag, hit it, it stuck together. And I put one joint in the bag because I didn't want nobody to go through it. So these is experimentations of things I was doing. There was a thing, I had this white boy who gave me some Afghanistan Astilia sesamia. The sesamia was in long leaves. So I had to measure it to figure out how can I give everybody an equal share. So it came from the Chinese restaurant and they gave us some Chinese sticks. And I said, man, I gotta measure this. So I took the bud and cut it. I put it the size of a stick. And I said, the lady was sewing. I said, yo, why can't I see that thread? And she said, it's invisible thread. When you sew your clothes, you can't see it. So I said, can I borrow a piece of that a minute? Because it ain't gonna stick. I can't put glue on it. So I tied it like this and tied it back and tied it back and tied it back, and I put it in aluminum foil. And they said, gee, what you gonna call that? I said, well, it's on the stick. Call this shit tie stick. And I put it in aluminum foil. I said, yo, you gotta keep it in the freezer though. This is making up stuff. People bought it. It was just an academic. It spread like wildflowers, and I was making more money at $35 a stick to $15 a stick. And that was just part of what, as young men, 18, 19, experimenting things to get out there.
So you telling me, right, that you invented the Chunky Black and the tie stick?
That was that's what you call, it was a trial and error.
Right.
And I tried it.
Right.
And before you know it, you just go to 123rd Street. Right. Where they had the fried chicken on, or the chicken man, or I had the Chunky Black. Right. And I never went into the block. Only once or twice. I said to CNB, the Cash Money Brothers. Yo, you know them brothers. That's one of the brothers. It's like they know you at the Beat radio station. They know it's you. Now, Vito, that's my man. They know you ain't going nowhere else to go to the Beat show. Right. So that's how that experience went. But I don't want to let that be for what it is that I give it any credit towards that, because as a young man, I did things as a young man would do. And
Just telling your story. That's
experiencing, you know, what it is in greatness, it only came from knowing that I had to make a transition. See, the natural man only, he goes by sense knowledge. What he sees, what he smells, what he tastes, what he hears, and what he feels. But you need a direct communication, and that direct communication is with God. And I found that out later.
Right.
You know, most guys didn't make it to get to this point, that they could tell the story as an example.
Right, you're right about that. So,
What-
go ahead.
What part, what percent you say is true in the movie?
Well, there's no Carter Hotel, and first of all, G Money got killed at the end of the movie. Then I must be like Jesus. I didn't rose from the dead. I'm here alive. That's one of the big major things that Buffalo people, because they thought it was a fictitious tale about two drug lords by the name of Nino Brown and G Money, and they killed Wesley Snipes in the movie and Alan Payne in the movie. So you know how much of that's true. Here I am.
So you say about 20% of the movie is true?
The basketball, we used to bet for money. I used to ride unicycles back in the day down the steps. Chris was running down the steps. The Wall Street junkie came from when I was in Staten Island. I had the lawyers, the DAs, and the attorneys used to come by down at Battery Park. That's where you used to get the tie stick from, and the grams of coke at $100 a gram back in the day. I had a guy, a lieutenant, that was actually circulating through the Wall Street, through all the McCann bars during the day. And I had this girl that lived in my building. I used to live in Staten Island, and I didn't discover while she was buying the coke that she was coming back like every 40 minutes. And she was cooking the coke up. That's when it was being cracked. But the DAs, the lawyers, they used to come for lunch and buy it. They used to come from Staten Island on the boat and buy $100 a gram. You couldn't make up enough packages for them to go, 3,000 people on a boat going to work in the morning, coming back from work, coming back for lunch, the whole 9 yards. But I really didn't think that it would grow as fast as it did. And I was blessed because, you know, when I think about it, I'm not glorifying any of that lifestyle. Yeah, we all bought the cars. I bought a big medallion that said G Money and diamonds. Man, I had to pay my rent. I had to pawn it. You know, I owed money. Sometimes I had these guys messing up money. We had big gold chains. Man, all that stuff got to go. That goes to the pawn shop. That's collateral, it's money. But people are still to this day, you know, idolizing, you know, a movie that's portrayed to be, it's a classic movie, no doubt about it. It put me on the map as a household name. And as I, you know, I've been all over with this thing, man. I was making this in show business as, I ran with George Kirby, Rich Little. I was one of the youngest impersonators. I did comedy and had a repertoire of about 48 voices.
But see, y'all must have been making a lot of moves out there. Your name must have been ringing bells because, I mean, they made a movie about New Jack City and stuff like that, you know? And, but when they made the movie and they got Wesley Snipes and my man to portray you, did they come to you and ask you about I mean, how did it go?
Not at all, not at all. You know, that's their business, that's
Right.
their industry, that's the film and
They heard about it from somebody, though, right?
Yeah, of course, you know, they get stories. There's a lot of people that I know that people don't know today, even in Harlem, but there's people from Harlem that know these people. And in Hollywood, they come to get our stories, what we were doing, and then they go portray as characters. They come to meet with the real characters and deal with that. I was making money upstate. You know, what was going for $500 here, it was going for $2,000 up there.
Right.
So why would I need to stay here? Russell Simmons was doing Def Jam comedy. He asked me to come down. I was like, yo, how much that cost? I'm making 25, 30 grand a day. I'm gonna come down for $500 and do an act for you for 500. But then again, that was that industry. I didn't know anything about that. I had a different occupation. I was in a multi-million-dollar business. I wasn't trying to get into what's happening that in today's time where people are doing radio, movies, documentaries, websites. I know nothing about that. I'm strictly in the game, you know, until I got arrested, and I turned my life over to Christ at the Slop Sink in Rikers Island. He said, you know, you can turn your life over. I'm like, what? Man, I'm mopping the floor, cleaning the bathroom. He said, man, you gotta do is confess him with your mouth and know that and make him the Lord of your life. You'll see a difference in the change in your life, and your spirit working on your behalf.
That's true.
So how that came about? Like, how you felt inside once you start making the change?
Well, it's one thing to be born again, but it's another thing to renew your mind. You have to renew your mind. You know, every day. It's not a one-time event. It's a lifetime event. And separated from God is the natural man. You know, and I think I played enough that I'm blessed to be here. And I didn't go, well, I can't speak on it, but there's guys I know that are doing life in prison behind the game. They got football numbers. These numbers are incredible. Some guys didn't make it. You know, I worked for Guy Fisher at the Apollo. Guy was in the industry, and he gave me a job with Smokey Robinson, DJ Hollywood, Natalie Cole, Felipe Wynn, the Spinners. I was doing comedy, and Guy was, you know, a great guy. You know, first time I met Guy hit me off with $1,000, put my name up in lights, bought me 2 tuxedos, went to buy me 2 pairs of shoes to go with the tux, and 4 guys butt heads to see who's gonna pay for it. I said, dang, what is this guy doing? I didn't know nothing about that, but I mean, from Bat, Jerome, Small Paul, all these guys I grew up with, I know all these guys, and I engaged with love from them that they were generous. So I had to be generous too. When I got in the game, I was Generous G. And if you take care of your people, they'll take care of you.
True.
You know? So again, I don't want to elaborate so much on the game. I want to tell you what I'm doing now. I'm the birth of New Jack City. This is the New Jack City extravagance, from gangster to God. Like most of us can run a Fortune 500 club. It's power. God has given us the ability to get results. It's power. And nothing works without love. So, you know, you apply this, ask God for what you want, pray on it, and then thank Him. Because all the work that you ever want to know is finished. God wasn't tired in 7 days because he stopped 7 days because he was tired. He was finished the work. And I neglected it because I would renew my mind to exchange my thinking for his thinking. See, I didn't make God. God made me. When I found out my true identity, then I became identified to who I am as a real man of God. Not to be what the world thought of me, New Jack City, G Money. You know, we all had fun when we were kids. I'm not gonna lie, there was a little fun in it, but it doesn't last long. And the more money you have, the more problems you have. You got haters, you got liars, you got cheaters. You in that game, that is critical. But when you get away from that to understand why these people are the way they are, man, you don't want to go back into that. You want to start a new life, a new beginning.
Exactly.
Old things pass away. All things are made new. I have a past, but I don't live there.
Right.
So for me to keep identifying with how New Jack City came about, they're journalists, they're writers, they're creative. This is what Hollywood does. They can make an Italian gangster make you love, mimic, and idolize them. Oh, that was Scarface, man. You see what he did? All of that with Hollywood. They gave you what they call television. Television. They told their vision. And you believed it. Because anytime something appears on the screen, people believe that it's real. Well, I'm doing the true story of my life story.
Yeah, so tell everybody what this book is based on.
My life story, everything I've been through since I began, how I met Nino Brown, studying the actions and the things that I did until I made the transition, going to jail. It's about haters, about the camera, about being homeless, you know, a lot of the things that people experience, you know, still carrying care, worry, stress. I show them how to get out of it. You know, but it's not me. I boast of nothing of myself.
Right.
It's what God has allowed me to do
Amen.
to minister to that.
So this party you have, can you get into this?
Oh yeah, we having a big party. We having Jimmy Kane, Wu-Tang Management. He has his birthday for February 22nd. He's working on his new release of some of his Wu-Tang Clan of Bones. I got Bones, Big Nate. Man, a lot of my friends that have been in this industry for years, we all coming out. I'd like to give special thanks to my boys, the Aquarius boys, Jamel. You know, I got my boy from 96.FM, Trevor, East Coast, West Coast. You know, I'm involved with that, with them involved with the promotion of this party engagement. I'm about to do the television series, the New Jack Era.
Mm.
And we
What's
just,
that about?
how it all
What
began.
the hell began?
How New Jack City, how it all began, how I became Gerald G Money, how I met Nino Brown, how we grew up as kids,
Right.
how he went left, I went right. Because he was in the dope game. He was pretty much with the boy.
Right.
And that was my first introduction to the game, was the boy.
Right.
You know. And I can't give you 12 years of school in one semester, but I'm going to give you a good dose. I say, you know what I'm saying?
This.
Yeah.
Well,
I definitely got to support this party.
well, we're going to have y'all coming out too, man. We're going to put beats out. I'm on the radio tonight also, man. I got another radio show to do, but I'm going to make sure I fulfill this void and what the beats is all about. Because, you know, I commend you guys of even see, you could have done anything else you wanted to do. Your parents must be very proud of you, man. You came in here getting the word out to a lot of people, you know, and, I was excited. You know, I'd like to give a special shout out to my boy Shaw.
Yeah,
you
shout out
know,
to Shaw.
and my boy Black, you know.
Shaw.
You know,
Yeah.
they're original OGs, you
Absolutely.
know. And when OGs get together, you know, we come together to try to finagle to put things together. So we want the world to know what we're about to do and to launch on this project. This project is major right now because Hollywood has portrayed us to be drug dealers and gangsters.
Right.
So now we switched the game.
Right.
We the Fortune 500 corporative table. What the empire consists of, lawyers, DAs, lawyers, attorneys, administrators, everything it takes to run a company in business. Vice president, treasurer. I put together a great empire of individuals that are specialized in the specialized knowledge that they have to help to facilitate this movie as well as the television series. Because I wrote the movie actually like 10 years ago, and I just set it on the shelf. And I wasn't even really, because I became a writer, and I said, hey, I don't want to do the reboot of something they keep talking about as a reboot. You killed off the two main characters. It was based on that. I hear so many stories. Let me rectify it. If you go back and watch the movie, you're going to see Mario Van Peebles walks in the room. He says, and this is just to set a couple records straight, no haters, no bull. They said there's a group of guys that this was based on. Well, then I just got one thing to say. If it was a Supreme team, then why wasn't it the Supreme New Jack City? It was the New Jack era, the CNB, the Cash Money Brothers, Lil Wayne, Birdman. They all elaborated on something I thought was just a simple thing to talk about, that they elaborated and took it to another level. But I'm glad they made me a household name. They put me where on the map that everybody's talking about it. Who don't know? So I kept it low key because I'm not in the game that I am. So I'm not trying to be like Snoop had the popularity, but he didn't have the money. So I want to wait till I was positioned to start coming out publicly because, it's a different story when you become a public figure and everybody knows you. I run into places I go now, I'm still, I've been around. I hit some knocks some doors down, It's crazy. I didn't want to be like Nicky Barnes. He went straight to New York Times, they went there. I'm legit. I pay taxes. I'm living right. I ain't in the game. I'm not gonna get on the New York Times. You know what I'm saying? And still be untouchable. Well, that's another story. I never met the man, but I met associates that get involved in knowing how life was for us as young men. I commend him to put most drug dealers and people getting educated how to really work the game. Because we were all taught Thunderbird Johnny, another great brother, man. Man, made experience with him. I remember before Keith Sweat became Keith Sweat, he was with a group called Jamila. And Thunderbird Johnny had me, Allison Williams, because I was at the Apollo. They had me come as the MC to introduce Allison and Keith Sweat. I used to tell Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat was like, he was one man that act like he was the Temptations all by himself. He used to spin around the mic and stuff. But today I commend him. He went from Jamila, Larry Peoples, and I don't know if you remember this back in the day. You might still be young.
Nah.
Yeah, these are guys that how they started. They used to come to my house to rehearse, and I don't know. You were still young, but back in the day, you know, one of my things was to introduce myself at the Apollo. I used to. You might have heard this back in the day. Your mama can recollect on this. From the world famous Apollo Theater, we're proud to present on our stage tonight the multi-talented, ladies and gentlemen, Smokey Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the live world famous Apollo Theater, we're proud to present on our very stage that multi-talented Mr. Dynamite, G Money. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? Hey, darling, take that and put it where you want to. Now close your legs. You got a busy night ahead of you. No, I'm only serious. How you doing? How about all the pretty people giving yourselves a round of applause? Now all the ugly people. That's right, you know who you are. I ain't gonna point you out. Sitting up there now trying to look better. Look like someone in your face. No, I'm only serious. But again, that was what it was like back in the day. So I was blessed, you know, to this day, you know, I'm doing some of the big boys. You know, and I don't, you know, I gotta give anybody talk about it, you gotta back it up. So let me back it up for you a little bit. From the world famous Apollo Theater, we're proud to present on our very stage soul brother number one, Mr. Dynamite, James Brown. Hey, Bobby, say Glenn, say, you know what, I like to get up and do my thing. Say, Bobby, now how you gonna leave James Brown, Bobby? How you gonna leave James Brown? You know what I'm saying? As I said to the American people, I talked to Judge Biden, I talked to Bill, I talked to Congress. I'm pissed off, man. Mama come on, she buy the Kool-Aid, she don't buy no sugar. Daddy putting brochures on my bed. That's the how it goes, sound, bring your line coverage. Looking back to ringside view right now, bringing out that unforgettable Muhammad Ali. I was the greatest of all time. I didn't beat Frazier, Foreman, everybody wanna know who's the greatest. How things ain't like they used to be. Hey, Norton, will you come on down here, Norton? Oh, my goodness. Dr. Bellows, is that your dog, Bruno? If you'd like to hear some more, you got to pay more money and get a better seat. You know, I come a long way from New Jack City. Nigga, it was spinning, nigga, it was spinning.
Okay, let's get that. Come on, man. Yeah, come on, man. Oh, man. I sure didn't expect that. I needed that. That was all right, man. I love a good laugh, man. You know?
You did all the performances there. That James Brown was
yeah. Impressions, man.
I was with George Kirby back in the day. I was on Rich Little Midday Live. George Kirby was the first black impressionist. And then Rick Aviles, I worked with him. Rick Aviles, I'm a Rick Aviles, a black Puerto Rican comedian who played in Ghost. Patrick Swayze. I mean, this countless of people I've been engaged with. I met Jab Judah. I've been with a lot of heavy hitters in this industry, and they blessed me, you know, to be able to want me to stay with the comedy, opposed to knowing the lifestyle I live. Because I used to put them in the trunk and take them to the woods. I didn't have a problem with that, but that was the old man. That was in the natural. Yeah, I only followed what they did. What's that guy? You know, other real gangsters back in the day. Yeah, you see, Mom, what you want to do? Send me back to Chain Gang? Oh, man. See, that's all we had, that thing. No, see, this is W.G. Robinson, see? You don't play that, you see, Mom. We smack you. Come here, you silly gang. You want to play with me? We only learned that from television.
Little short.
Yeah.
I got on them through my mom. My mom loved him.
Yeah, those are the things that we learned.
The tough, the black and white TV and all that.
Yeah, he's always talking.
The TV was black and white back then. You know about that shit.
Oh, yeah, with the antenna holder.
The antenna.
Yeah, you know.
Aluminum foil wrapped around.
What you know about that?
With the roaches running through the screen and all that.
Listen, I lived in the co-op, man.
You had the 8-track with the roaches in it, though, right?
I had none of that. I had my own room, my own bathroom.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you turn the 8-track on, the roach come out first.
Oh, man.
He was hiding
Bring it up! Yeah, that's for real. But again, you guys have, you know, and you guys are going to be in future things to come. You guys are going to meet a lot of great people. The thing I could do to exercise relationships with people that I met from the industry. You know, I commend my boy Jimmy Kane, who's regional vice president of Wu-Tang Management, and what he's did in this industry to even come into the association to help with the soundtrack. I'd like to give a shout out to my man Jim Jones. You know, I'd like to give a shout out to my man Pone. You know, there's a lot of basic players that I've been engaged with for the soundtrack. Genuine, Uncle Murder. You know, there's a lot of major players that have, you know, come forth at a time to actually make this movie now. And there are a lot of special guests that I have on the show. And I'm definitely going to get you guys to come on the show.
Absolutely.
Man. So, man, we got Beats Radio, and you're coming in the New Jack era, you know, because you guys are opening up platforms for a lot of young artists, man. The artist you just had here before, she was incredible.
Yeah.
Really great talent. And I wish her the best, too, of what she's doing. I got Brandon Wilburn coming out for February 22nd. We at the Living Room, 125 St. Anne's Avenue, Brooklyn Boulevard. We got the New Jack Era extravaganza in the New Jack Era. This is the new year, new beginning. This is the New Jack Era. And we're going to change the game. From the Fortune 500 Power of the Empire, CEO, Gerald G Money. And we're taking things a little different. We're going to take over the film, movie, and fashion industry. And of course, you know, you guys are head hitters on the radio and podcast. I was out there with Ice-T at his house. I'm on Popcast 31 with Ice-T, so like catch a couple of other interviews with me. And my book is in Barnes and Nobles and Amazon. You can go and you can, you know, if you have any special talent and abilities in this film and movie industry, you can go to G Money, New Jack Era at gmail.com. And, you know, I will definitely give you a reply back and what you bring to the table, whether you're a writer.
Follow this man.
You know.
Go to his social media. What's your social media?
Well, put it like this, man. You know, I tried that before, man, and the phones is ringing off the hook, the emails were flooding, things are engaging. Just email gmoneynewjackera at gmail.com. And the book is in Barnes and Noble. Just Google Gerald G Money. It's in Barnes and Nobles and Amazon. And the New Jack Era is coming soon. We're doing 4 more episodes to be complete, and we're getting ready to lock this thing down.
Can you tell me what podcast show you on?
Popcast 31 with Ice-T.
No.
Oh, man, you kidding me, man? This is the beat. 130. Wait.
Give me something better than that, man. Give me something.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the air with the beat at 139 right here, live in Harlem, USA. Tuning down right now with the beats 139. Don't go nowhere. Keep your station tuned in, man, because we about to bring you. I got one thing before I leave. Am I not my brother's keeper? I said, am I not my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am. Thanks for coming to the show, bro.